gang, welcome back to Mark's 60 Plus Fitness Journey. Now, today I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about, in a little more detail, my strength training program. Now, if you've been watching my channel, been following me at all, you know that I talk a lot about my strength training program and my strength training movements and exercises. And what I'd like to do today is maybe just briefly explain why I jumped into this. And secondly, I want to go into how I integrate my strength training exercises or movements into my day-to-day workout programs and make them the foundation of those programs. So let's go do it. Okay, first, I'd like to quote a man by the name of Dr. Jonathon Sullivan at GreySteel. He has among other things, he has a YouTube channel called GreySteel, and I'll link that down in the description. But what Dr. Sullivan does and advocates is strength training for aging adults, 40, 50, 60, 70, and older. Now, to quote Dr. Sullivan, strength training with just a few big multi-barbell movements combined with high-intensity conditioning is an excellent general exercise prescription for adults over 40. It's safe, it has a wide therapeutic window, it's comprehensive, addressing all the fitness attributes, it attacks the sick aging phenotype, and it's simple and efficient. To be comprehensive, our exercise program should cover as many fitness attributes as possible. Our exercise medicine should improve strength and power and endurance and mobility and balance and body composition, not just one or two of these attributes. Okay, so that sums up very well why I've chosen to make strength training the foundation of my entire workout program now. It is a comprehensive workout program, and I encourage you to find out more from Dr. Sullivan. Go to GreySteel, check out his work. In particular, I find it very interesting, the sick aging phenotype that he talks about. That is fascinating, and I encourage you to look at that and research that further. But in my mind, for the aging adult, strength training is an ideal foundation from which to work. Okay, now what I'd like to do is talk about how I integrate strength training into my day-to-day workout programs, how I designed it into my programs to make strength training the foundation of all of my workouts. So there are 5 strength training movements I currently use. 1, squats. 2, overhead presses. 3, barbell rows. 4, deadlifts. 5, bench presses. Now these are all big multi-joint barbell movements or compound movements. They're not the entirety of what you could do as a compound movement. For example, one could include power cleans, even some Olympic style lifting, that kind of thing. That'd be a little bit more advanced. I don't think I'm even going to do that. I may eventually get into some power cleans, but I don't know. But these are the foundation of my strength training. And I've just recently incorporated bench presses. Actually, I've only got 2 sessions in as of this recording. And this is probably the lesser of these other 4 when it comes to compound movements, because you're lying on your back, your body's kind of supported, but it is a good strength movement. So let me show you how I incorporate these in my day-to-day workouts. Okay, so currently I'm working on a 4-day program, and I'll link my current 4-day program up here in the corner and down in the description, and it'll give you a little bit more detail on each day. But today I want to show you how I incorporate the strength training into each one of these days. So I have a leg day, a shoulder day, a back day, and a chest day. So let's look at each one individually. Okay, before I forget, a major component to my strength training being the foundation of my workouts is always do your strength movement first. And for example, on leg day, I do squats and deadlifts. Now what I'll do is on one session I'll start with a heavier, more intense squat session, followed by a lighter and less intensity deadlift session. And the next leg day session I'll reverse that and start out with a heavier, more intense deadlift session and a lighter, less intense squat session. And again, I go into more details about this in the video I just talked about earlier. But on leg day, I will always start with my strength movement first, squats and or deadlifts. And what that does is it gives us a chance to do the heavy, intensive work right off the bat before we are pre-exhausted with other work. Now I follow up leg day strength training with things like leg presses or hack squats or leg extensions, things like that. Now I would never do them first. I would do these first all the time. So on leg day, it's squats or deadlifts first. Okay, shoulder day. Now my shoulder day strength movement is overhead presses. I'll always start my shoulder day with some warm-ups and my current linear progression approach of 3 sets of 5 reps at a given weight using overhead presses. And once that's finished, then I'll jump into the rest of my shoulder workout, which is generally hypertrophy stuff using dumbbells and other shoulder movements. Back day. Okay, my current back day strength movement is barbell rows. 3 sets, 5 reps at a given weight. And then I'll move on to the rest of my hypertrophy type back movement later. Now, one thing of note here, I may eventually move my deadlifts from leg day to back day. Now, if I were to do this, what I would do is something similar I do on leg day. I'd probably start with deadlifts and do a heavier intensive session of deadlifts and follow that up by a lighter and less intensive barbell row, and then reverse that the next back session and start with a heavy intensive barbell row session and follow that up with a less intense, lighter deadlift session. That's just an option. But right now, my primary strength movement is barbell rows. Chest day. Now, on chest day, my current strength movement is bench presses. And as I mentioned earlier, I just started incorporating these a few sessions ago. I've only got 2 sessions in as of this recording, but I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm really doing these bench presses more for fun. As I mentioned earlier, bench presses to me are a little less of a strength movement than squats and deadlifts and barbell rows and overhead presses. But they are a good strength movement all in all. And after I finish my bench presses, then I'll go out and do the rest of my more hypertrophy oriented work. So bench presses on chest day. All right, there you have it. Kind of in a nutshell, why and how I incorporate strength training into my day-to-day workouts. Now, currently, as I mentioned earlier, I have a 4-day workout split, and on each and every one of those workouts, I start with the appropriate strength training movement and then follow that up with some lighter weight, more intense, higher rep hypertrophy work. And that to me is part of my conditioning as well, because I hop through that fairly quickly. I get a sweat going, I get my heart rate up, and I'm moving. I'm getting some exercise in there for sure. And I will supplement that, as you probably know, with walking. I walk nearly every day, generally at least 45 minutes. I find walking an excellent low-impact aerobic exercise to combine with a workout program. So there you go. Let me know what you think. I'd like to hear your thoughts on strength training over 40, 50, 60 or older. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you do it? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts. And as always, at this point, I'm going to ask you the favor of clicking that like button. That would be awesome. And if you haven't already, consider clicking the subscribe button. Come join our group. Love to have you here. That would be awesome. And with that, I'm going to wrap up today, and I will say, until next time, go get 'em. Mark out.